ado, today's session is group work that works. I really want to thank all of you for coming and showing up. This is our second ever Markify webinar, so very exciting. Most of you here already know about me and probably even Jeff, but my name's Anthony Beckett. I'm the creator of Markify. I started it 4 years ago now, which is crazy to think about, but I started it after missing a lot of notes in my math class. And I thought, you know, why can't I build a tool that lets me see the notes up on my Chromebook screen, right? And so that was very much kind of how it started. And I kept working on it, kept improving it. And eventually it kind of morphed into this collaborative tool with the idea of, you know, can we give out editing to the students and let them write on the board from the comfort of their desk. And so it was very focused around whole class collaboration and engagement. But now more recently and much more excitingly, we're getting into group work. And that's kind of obviously what this session is centered around. And so for the longest time, most of that 4 years, Markify was focused just on accessibility and whole class. But now, as of about, I want to say 4 or 5 months ago, I began rolling out Breakout, which is what we're going to be using today to power kind of the group work side. And it's really focused on this idea of turning group work into teamwork, you know, and I know those sound like similar things, but when you really think about it, you know, when I don't know about all of you, but when I think of group work, I think of I doing all the work and everyone else sits around. Teamwork, I think of a group of people really working together. And so the idea of Breakout is to really empower that by giving the teacher monitoring tools, letting them facilitate the groups and ensure that, you know, everyone, all of the students are working together. So anyway, I don't know if Jeff wants to say a few words about himself here.
Sure. Yeah, thanks for having me. And yeah, I've been with Markify now for, I don't know, maybe officially about half a year, if not a little more. Unofficially, you know, probably around a year now. But I'm a college professor. I teach finance, and over the past, you know, it keeps getting bigger and bigger, but about a decade now, I've tried incorporating technology into my classes to make the student learning better, to make student engagement better, to see how can we improve outcomes and just make, you know, group work, teamwork, interactions in the classroom work better. And when I came across Markify, I thought, you know, this is really something special. This is a tool that is going to help me with that. And, you know, I reached out to Anthony, and one thing led to another, and here we are today. And I appreciate Anthony having me.
Yeah. All right. So I've gone ahead and I've created a share link. And so I'm going to take the share link. I'm going to put it into the chat. And so hopefully all of you can join into the lesson here. Get on joined in. Oh, I see we have 5 members here. All right, perfect. A brand new feature that I'm very excited about with Markify, kind of a little off topic, is widgets. And so you can now do things like starting a timer. So I'll start a 25-minute timer here to kind of keep us on track. But I'm going to bring all of you to me. I'm going to spotlight myself. And we're going to come down here. And so just a really quick warm-up activity. You know, how familiar are you with Markify? I have a feeling most of us here are pretty familiar. But you're going to come, you're just going to use the text box here, which is the 3rd button from the top. And you can come and place that down under a box and put your name in it. Oh, I see D loves that. I've kind of thought he probably would. I'm assuming he's
Can you
talking
give us
about
editor?
Oh, I don't even know how my own tool works. I will give all of you editor. I'll come in here and so yeah, as I thought, it looks like we're all pretty good here, which is good, right? It means we're not going to have to sit around walking through how everything works. All right, so now we're going to come down to the first part here, and this is getting, really into the group work side of things. What comes to mind when you hear group work? I kind of gave some ideas earlier about my experience with group work, but for this, I would recommend using the sticky note. So it's the 5th button from the top on the toolbar here. You can come down, place your sticky note. I'm going to add a sticky note too. Perfect. So a few students doing the majority of the work while a few others just nod from the sidelines. Forced collaboration, not the norm. Really don't work with assignments. Can be great if using the Kagan structure, but is usually just work in a group. This leads to several problems. Very good assessment. So yeah, I think we all get the general idea. The goal of this webinar by the end of it is to show how we can kind of get around that using technology. Obviously, we're showing that in Markify, but you don't have to necessarily use Markify for it. This is focused on a lot more than just the tool itself. This is focused around strategy and just in general incorporating technology in a positive way. So we'll come down here. So I have 4 different pages I'm going to reveal. Each one of those is one of 4 popular strategies that are used in the classroom. So we got think, pair, share, round robin, jigsaw method, and numbered heads together. And so once again, use the sticky note and just kind of pick a strategy or 2. You can throw down a pro or a con of it. Maybe you've used it in your own classroom or you've done a session on it. And so you can come down and plop down what you think's a pro or a con of it. And some might be all cons, or maybe one's all pro. You never know. But I have a feeling, like most things in life, not everything's a pro. So you can scroll left and right. Feel free to add some thoughts to the other ones. But I'm seeing it looks like we've got quite the thoughts on round robin here. Let's see, what do we got here? Round robin. Students often just say, he took my idea if they aren't early on in the round robin. That is a really good point. I very much remember doing a round robin activity in middle school, and it was just a lot of clashing. Jennifer says students look ahead and determine which part they'll have to do and aren't really paying attention to everyone else or what is happening. Really good.
My brain went to Red Robin when you're having to read aloud, and that's where, yeah.
That's where I did it. And so it was like each person reads aloud a different part of some passage and gives their thoughts on it. All right, let's see, what else do we have? Think, pair, share. So it looks like think, pair, share. We're getting mostly pros here. Quick way to get students talking. Everyone is participating. Let's see, numbered heads together. Pros. Everyone needs to be prepared to ensure they look like they know what they're talking about. That is a good point. It can cause some anxiety because of the unknown chance of presentation. This is a good structure. Jigsaw method now is a good structure if planned well. All right, well, I think we have knocked this one out of the ballpark. So finish your thought, Dave, and I think we will get into the actual breakout part of the session here. This one can be difficult to set up. Very true. All right, so now we're going to switch gears and we're actually going to get into Markify Breakout. I'm going to remove the editing here. And so what's exciting about Breakout is it's actually its own tool. And so if you're on Markify, there's 2 different buttons here. And so Breakout is kind of its own tool, its own product, but they link together nicely. And so I'm going to come back to Markify here. What I mean by that is there's a button in my bottom corner here. I can actually add a Breakout to just a normal collaborative whiteboard. I'm going to open it here. It's going to pop out just for me so that I can set it up. And I want to come through here. The first step of doing a Breakout is creating the template. And so I'm going to come in. Creating the template's really easy. You can just upload a document. You know, it's just like normal Markify. So you could upload a worksheet or a PDF, or you could just make a blank page. You can also duplicate the board if you're just trying to get a really quick, like you want to make a copy and give out, say every student gets their own copy of the notes to mark up. I've already made the template, so I'm going to use the template I've made. I'm going to bring that template in. And so I'll show you what that looks like. This is what all of you are going to get assigned. I'm going to finish the template. The next part is to decide on the pairing strategy. And so this is how you want to set up, how you want students to get paired. So you can do auto pair, which is going to randomly just assign everyone into a group. You can do team up, which lets students pick their groups. That's what I'm going to do. And then there's manual if you just want to drag and drop every person one by one into their group. I don't recommend that for a larger class setting, but I'm going to do team up, and then I can change the settings. So because we've got 6 people here, I'm going to make it a max of 2 people per team. I'm going to turn off changing teams, and I'm going to turn off creating a team. So we're going to do that. I will turn on gallery walk, which will let all of you move between the teams. And then I'm going to turn off change team name. And then I'm going to finish the setup, and it's going to create the breakout here, and then I can add the groups. And so I'm going to add 2 different groups here. And we've got 2 different groups. And now I'm going to come back to Google Meet because we're virtual. And I'm telling you guys, this is a lot more fun in person. The couple of sessions I've done with Breakout. But I'm going to come back to Teams here, and I'm going to put all of us into a breakout room of 2 in here. 2 rooms, and we'll put 2 people in each. All right, so you're going to get with your partner, and you're going to work on the first part of this activity. I'll go over it really quick before we break out, but the first part's really just a fun warm-up. There are 9 different items that are pretty random. You're going to come up with a category, 2 to 3 categories to put for each of those items. So you can put 3 items in it. Or more. I just put 3. I assumed you would put 3, but you're going to try to come up with a way to sort it. Perfect, D. You're going to come up with a way to sort it, and then you're going to put a sticky note here kind of explaining how you came up with that category. So I'm going to set up the breakouts now. I'm going to open the rooms, join into your room. Well, I hope you guys had a little bit of fun with that activity. I know it probably wasn't as fun as it could have been with more people and whatnot, but I think both of you, this really goes to show, I think, the benefit of group work, right? Of different groups just coming up with entirely unique ideas. But I wanted to come back together here to kind of show the teacher side of things for the last couple of minutes. So I'm going to screen share again. All right, hopefully you can see my screen. So yes. I'm going to exit out here, and this is really what the teacher side looks like. So once again, it's split screen. We were talking about this in group 1, but you can resize it to kind of get stuff out of the way. Oh. But you know, I can see the 2 groups. Once again, I think if we had more people, this would be a lot more fun. But these are really live previews. So I can zoom into these. While you guys were working, I was able to see your cursors moving stuff around. And so these are fully live. But of course, the biggest thing with Breakout goes back to the monitoring aspect I was talking about. I mean, we were joking around in group 1 about how, you know, D cut out for a bit. It's like, well, your group member leaves you high and dry. But as we can see here, Markify Breakout actually tracks all of this. And so I can see, for instance, that Dee and Jennifer actually work together really, really closely well, because this bar here is essentially in the center. I mean, maybe Dee did a tiny bit more work, but that is really spot on. And so they got together, they got along together really well. But then if I come on over to group 2, I can see, you know, partly because Dave was on a phone, but I can see that Jeff here
entirely because Dave was on a phone.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. But we can see here that
he participated.
And that is the reason why you can't completely rely on a system like this, right? This is just meant to give you an idea to know what groups should I go talk to, what groups should I investigate and see what's going on. And so, you know, as the teacher, I would go talk to Jeff and Dave and go, oh, you know, Dave forgot his Chromebook today. No. But I can come and see what's going on. But it's just a really good way of knowing, is this a healthy group? Are they getting along together? Are they, you know, contributing? But what's even cooler is I can click on the members. So I'll click on D here and go right into the timeline view and see everything that D contributed to the group. And so I can come through here almost like a YouTube video and see what he added. I can see he did most of the second one, and then I can change the filter to Jennifer, update it, and I can see, oh, she did a lot of the first and the third one. And so really seeing what each person contributed. And there's even more features on the way. For instance, there's a really quick bird's eye view that I'm currently working towards that's kind of in between the bars and the timeline, where it essentially lets you click on a member and it grays out everything that the other members made and just leaves what that person made highlighted. And so that's a new feature that's coming along, not out yet. But yeah, that's kind of the general overview of it. Of course, all of this is saved. Oh, I hear the timer going off. There we go.
Man, you have no idea how much I love that there's timers on it. I think you already know what I'm doing with this. This is good.
I have a feeling that that's going to be really helpful in a session, you know?
Yep.
Is the timer only in the breakout aspect,
No.
or is it in regular Markify now too?
The timer is in both. And so it's the last button here, widgets. You got the timer, you got the spinner, you've got an alignment, which is really neat. And then I'm adding a polling one that's coming in the next few days.
Ooh, okay. I was tracked out most of the summer, so I hadn't seen all the widgets added. Yay.
That's great.
There's
I have a presentation coming up about Markify.
Say that again.
I said I have a presentation coming up with a school on the 21st for Markify, so these are all good to know. Is the breakout still, I know at one point it was like that it was going to be a separate cost. It was not free like regular Markify. Is that true? And if so?
That is true. And I was planning to go over that if there was going to be
more.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to like.
No, you're fine. You know, I figured if we had more people here that probably didn't know about it having a cost, I was going to make a bigger point of it at the beginning. But no, Breakout is going to be a paid product. The goal of it is to obviously support the free Markify product. But, you know, there's a lot of different things that me and Jeff are wanting to experiment with. We want to have some flexibility. We want to have some way of letting teachers try it out and see if it's something that works in their class. So yeah, we're figuring it out. It is free for the rest of this year. And so for the next
calendar year or
calendar year.
Okay.
So it is free for the rest of 2026. We plan to start transitioning it into paid 2027.
And it is going to be charged by teacher, not students. So like if you've got a class of 5, great. If you got a class of 50, great. Like students don't have to pay. That's not the idea.
It's not priced per student. It's priced
per
teacher. Like when you're on the dashboard, when you hover over it, it's transparent. We do not want anyone to use it and think that, you know, this is free. We want it to be very clear. But we're also very clear that the normal Markify is going to be free forever. We have no plans to take that away, change that. And as you're seeing with widgets, we're continuing to add new things and improve it.
Okay, awesome. I just don't want to share with teachers. You know what I'm saying?
That's what it all is. But we do not want people to use Breakout and think that it's free or that they get to keep it. You know what I mean? We want it to be very transparent.
Yeah. Okay.
And
Awesome.
I have so many questions about timers. I'll just hold off on that for
Well,
now.
that's what I was about to say is if anyone has any questions, let's get into it. But
Ask away, D,
Yeah.
because I probably have them too.
Yeah, well, so you already know where I would go with this, and utilizing solving time, design thinking activity. That's what I was gonna, Jennifer. We had time with the building master plan. I'm like, I know exactly what I would use this for, how I'd use it, I know what template I would use. But now seeing the timers, that adds another element because I either typically do whole group timer so that there's a 35-minute timer, it's running, you have to go through each step. But what's ideal, especially when working with younger students or even working with those who are unfamiliar with the process, is I do it step by step. So I'll have for instance, 3-minute timer for each step. Would that be possible to set up, and how would I do that best? If I had multiple groups running,
well, we'll have to see here. I think if you're going to do that, you have to make sure that they are the ones that add the timer.
Got it.
At least
Got it.
currently.
And I'm not trying to force
idea,
you
so
to
I'm going to
make
think of a way to change that. But I would not add that in the template, because when you add it in the template, once again, at least currently, it is synced across all of the groups.
Got it. Well, that helps me though. That gives me clarity. So I would do a whole group.
But what you can do absolutely is have multiple timers. And so as you can see, a timer is like an actual object. So I can come in and place a different one and make this one a 10-minute timer.
But when you were saying you can put it on the template and it masters all of them, so could a teacher have next to their worksheet have a timer that, like Dee said, is 3 minutes, and it's the same 3-minute timer for everybody? Because if we're working maybe in the same classroom,
so
and
look,
the teacher's saying, okay, you're going to start this.
So yeah, Jennifer, that was kind of the motivation, is like, everyone go off, we're going to work on this assignment, this project, this whatever, for 5 minutes. Now you can all see how your 5 minutes is progressing.
Yeah, because I was going to say, if it's on that template or the group work side, at least they can see it, where, if they shrink the screen, they wouldn't still have a visual.
So I'll show you here. This is how it looks currently. You can update the template in Breakout anytime. So I'm gonna start the timer. I can push the changes out, and then now
ooh, I like that.
Have the timer, and it'll go off. And then if I wanted to pause it, that's the one thing I'm currently working on, a way to make it easier to update the template. But I can come in here and pause it and push the changes, and it'll pause.
I do like though that if you find out something that's not working, you know what I mean, that you can push them out instantly. It makes me think, like in Canvas, if you have something in Google and everyone gets their own copy, once you've pushed it out, you can't edit that for everybody. So I do like that aspect.
Yep. And you can come in as the teacher. You can change stuff in each group. So if I wanted to make, group 1 needed a different activity, I could come in and change the activity. So there's a lot of flexibility there. You kind of get to decide, do I want to update the template, which is kind of the base of what everyone gets, or do I want to just update or help a specific group?
That's awesome.
For what it's worth as well, I love that you use the language here that it said root template. Just knowing, being cautious of not using the words master, because master also then implies slave, and just being careful. I know that is very prominent, especially in technology circles, but it's also something that, like Google changed their slides from, there's no longer master slides anymore. Or in building world, my wife works in building, they no longer call them master suites.
Well, I'll tell you, even in technology, they're moving away from calling it that. Now they're moving to just calling it nodes.
It's
happening across all circles.
That's good.
So
the spinner automatically add everyone who's on.
Yep. So it just puts all of the members who are in the lesson.
Beautiful.
So if someone joins even after
Jennifer
you started, what? Yay!
You won. I don't know what.
Even if someone joins the lesson after you start and after you have the spinner on there, it'll still auto populate and update it.
Yep.
That's
Absolutely.
really, really cool.
Are there any settings like if you I'm thinking about if we were doing like we are right now, like we did an activity and then now we're gonna all come together and I'm gonna call on people maybe to share. If I use a spinner, is there a setting so it'll automatically eliminate people who are already selected?
Not yet.
Got it.
I was just trying to get all of this out, but that is something that I'm wanting to add. Is like a little gear, and you can change it. Maybe you want to type in the names, you don't want it to autofill. Maybe you want it to remove a name. So that is coming at some point, but no, right now it's just for picking someone who's in that.
And what was the other widget you said that you had down in the corner?
The alignment, which is probably my favorite. But this one's really neat. It's kind of a voting, and so you can change what this text is. So it kind of replaces. I wanted to use this, but you can kind of replace stuff like this with the alignment and be like, have you used Markify before? And no, I used it.
I didn't know that you could change all of these elements. This is really cool.
Yeah.
I used it a lot. And then everyone that's in the lesson can come and place like their little dot.
That's great.
Oh, that's really cool.
So it's just kind of like a fun little thing, kind of check. I imagine people using it like after an activity or after a lesson, like, do you understand multiplication?
As an exit ticket, it would be great.
Really cool.
And I can even click on this and make it anonymous, which just hides like who the dots are, or hide the markers entirely. And that way it doesn't like influence what other people put.
Awesome. Yep. Yeah, that was just going to be my question. Like, if you didn't have cursors turned on, would you not see where other people voted or whatever? But the anonymous mode takes care of that. So but then the teacher can come back later, obviously, and turn it on, which is the same thing I tell people when they do anonymous mode and you want to see who did something later. As the teacher, go back and look at your timeline, turn off anonymous, and then you can see on your timeline who did what.
So at a later point, the teacher can come and turn off the anonymous and it'll show the names again.
Those are all really cool, and I'm excited to
really
dive in and share them with
our and what's going to be really good is when I get all the kinks worked out with the poll widget as well. I think that'll be another good, I could see a lot of use cases for how a teacher might do a quick knowledge check or something like that. Because you don't have to use the poll as a poll. You could use it just to, put in a question and see how many people get the right answer.
Yeah, absolutely. Yay, very exciting.
Yeah, man. That's good.
All right. Well, I will look in. I know that we had a few kinks with Breakout. I'm going to look into those. I will tell you, I'm sure it says it somewhere in the tool, but Breakout is a beta. It's still in beta. So there are some few kinks that I'm still working out with it.
Okay.
But it's come a long way.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome.
Really
all right. Well,
cool.
Thank you. Thank you so much for coming.